Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. USS Hyperion, Arsenal. In the dormant cabin, one after another jagged warriors slept in armor wearing armor. At this time, an open space in the arsenal was accompanied by a distortion of space. A beautiful black-haired girl appeared in the open space of the arsenal. If Su Yan was here, she would definitely be able to recognize that the black-haired girl in front of her was none other than the Moon Lord's sister Lin Qingyue. When at the Moonstar Harbor, Lin Qingyue easily entered Su Yan's Hyperion using his optical invisibility cloak. "Oh, let me go to his fleet as a secretary. I won't go. My dream is the Sea of Stars." Lin Qingyue was walking in the corridor of the arsenal. During this time, with the help of an optical invisibility cloak, she was hardly discovered by Su Yan. After all, on this Hyperion, apart from Su Yan, there are only those dumb Marvin robots. Those Marvin robots would not take Lin Qingyue seriously at all. Even if Lin Qingyue walked past them, they would only do their own work. Lin Qingyue is also very clear that staying on Su Yan's boat is not an option. After he got to the next space station, he sneaked out. "I ran away from home this time, but I brought a lot of property with me. When I use this property, it is enough to form a huge fleet in a short time." Snort. Lin Qingyue secretly swore that the eldest brother and the second brother would be surprised by that time. "You are not a vase that they can arrange at will." Thinking of this, Lin Qingyue was also filled with pride. At this time, Lin Qingyue also walked to the dormant cabin of the predator. Through the glass of the dormant cabin, Lin Qingyue also looked at the same sleeping predator. A robot? Why does it look so strange? Lin Qingyue, who had never seen the predator, saw that the predator was wearing a mask and had various equipment, and immediately thought it was some kind of robot with a unique shape. But at this moment, the mask of the predator in the dormant cabin suddenly activated, and a pair of scarlet eyes stared at Lin Qingyue. Lin Qingyue was suddenly startled, and after taking a few steps back, she began to look around. I saw that the surrounding hibernation cabins started to activate, and a large number of predator woke up from their slumber. Seeing this, Lin Qingyue's expression changed, and she immediately activated her optical invisibility cloak. She had a hunch that these guys were different from those Marvin robots. Just looking at each other just now, I actually felt a biting killing intent. These guys are a real killing machine. Puff. The cold air in the dormant cabin was released and the hatch opened. Several predators walked out of the dormant cabin, and suddenly, the eyes of all predators fell on Lin Qingyue. At this moment, Lin Qingyue felt like a lamb being targeted by a group of jackals. How is this possible? How can they see me? Lin Qingyue also checked herself and determined that she had entered a state of invisibility. However, how did she know that the predator's mask was equipped with a thermal imaging device? Her optical invisibility cloak was of no use at all in front of the predator. One of the predator pointed in Lin Qingyue's direction and said something that Lin Qingyue could not understand. The next second, a predator walked directly towards Lin Qingyue. Seeing this, Lin Qingyue immediately understood that her optical invisibility cloak was of no use to these predator at all. However, even if she wanted to run now, it was too late. Not long after, several predators escorted Lin Qingyue to the bridge. Su Yan on the bridge glanced at the predator, and then at Lin Qingyue. Su Yan was not too surprised by the existence of Lin Qingyue, because some time ago, he also discovered that there were other people on the Hyperion. However, in order not to startle the snake, he still chose to wake up the predator first. Sure enough, these predators did not disappoint him. "Stowaway, how is your life on my Hyperion during this time?" Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue in front of him, and he recognized Lin Qingyue at first sight. She is the younger sister of the Moon Lord Lin Qinghe, and he has seen her reward order before. But I didn't expect that this guy was actually hiding on his own Hyperion. Glancing at the optical invisibility cloak on her body, Su Yan also squinted slightly. It turned out to be with the help of an optical invisibility cloak. No wonder I hadn't discovered her existence for so long. This thing is a high-end product, and you may not be able to buy it without any means. Lin Qingyue, who was caught, was also sweating coldly from her back, and hurriedly begged for mercy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to smuggle, I can pay. My brother is the Moon Lord. As long as you let me go, I will pay you enough. Now Lin Qingyue's bowels are regretful. She thought that with the help of the optical invisibility cloak, she could at least hide to the next space station. But she underestimated Su Yan's predator too much. Her small tricks are not worth mentioning in front of Predator. I know you're the Moon Lord's sister, but what does it matter? If I kill you now and throw you on Arcturus, those monsters will eat your corpse. At that time, who will know where you have gone, and who will know that you died in my hands? As soon as these words came out, Lin Qingyue turned pale with fright. At this time, Lin Qingyue also understood. This is not the solar system, nor is it the territory of her Lin family. Here, no one will cover her, and no one will respect her because of her status. Lin Qingyue looked at Su Yan in front of him. In his eyes, Su Yan had become a heinous villain like an interstellar pirate. I have money. Kill you, all the money is mine. Lin Qingyue. At this moment, Lin Qingyue was deeply aware of the sinister nature of the people sailing through the sea of stars. Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue in front of him and raised Erlang's legs. To be honest, whether it is from the point of view of the same clan or from the perspective of Lin Qingyue's identity, Su Yan will not kill him. Instead, Su Yan will send it safely to the next space station, then notify the Moon Lord to lead it, and earn a bounty for herself. But before that, he must let this eldest lady, who doesn't know the danger of Shanghai, know what it means to be sinister. This time, she dared to secretly board her own ship, and next time she might board someone else's ship. At this time, Lin Qingyue bit her lip tightly, tears in her eyes. After a long time, Lin Qingyue looked up and said, I know the location of a ruin, it's on Arcturus. The items in that ruin are definitely worth a lot more than me. Oh, Su Yan didn't expect that, he just wanted to scare this little girl. Unexpectedly, there are unexpected gains? You know, Arcturus is a planet that is often visited by interstellar voyagers. If there was anything good on the surface of the planet, it would have been looted long ago. But Lin Qingyue said it all, which means that there must be treasures on Arcturus that he doesn't know yet. Thinking of this, Su Yan also raised his hand. The predators immediately understood, and Lin Qingyue was released by the predators. Su Yan said indifferently, if there really are the ruins you mentioned on Arcturus. After I get the treasure in the ruins, I will send you safely to the next space station. As soon as the words fell, Lin Qingyue also flashed a light in his eyes. Keep your word. Find the ruins first. Hearing this sentence, Lin Qingyue's eyes suddenly dimmed. Su Yan didn't care about her emotions, and the Hyperion slowly landed on the surface of Arcturus. The laser cannon at the bottom of the ship burned all the surrounding dense woods. Then, the ship landed on a relatively flat piece of land. Su Yan brought Lin Qingyue to the hatch, and both of them were wearing a spacesuit at the moment. You know, the oxygen content of Arcturus is as high as 40%. Ordinary humans stay in such a high oxygen environment for a long time, which may cause symptoms of oxygen toxicity. Only these huge creatures of Arcturus can withstand such a high concentration of oxygen. The hatch opened slowly, and 1,000 predators were ready to go. After the hatch was opened, 1,000 iron warriors rushed out quickly. Not long after, these predators disappeared into the jungle. These predators roamed the environment around Su Yan, rooting out potential dangers for him. Roar! At this moment, a huge interstellar beast sticks its head out from the primitive jungle. Lin Qingyue's face was pale when she saw the huge stature of this interstellar beast that was dozens of meters high. With such a huge creature, it is estimated that his small body is no more than a gap between his teeth. But the next second, something even more shocking happened to her. Several plasma cannons flew out of the jungle ground, and instantly penetrated the head of the giant beast. Boom! With a loud noise, the entire ground shook because of the behemoth's fall. Seeing the giant beast falling, Su Yan also issued an order calmly. Leave 100 predators to collect food and water, and the others follow me. After the order was given, there was also a rustling sound in the jungle. Several predators suddenly appeared in front of Su Yan, with some blood on their bodies. Seeing these predators suddenly appear in front of them, Lin Qingyue couldn't help but be shocked. Invisibility cloak? Are these soldiers actually wearing invisibility cloaks? At this moment, Lin Qingyue understood that his optical invisibility cloak was nothing in the eyes of these predators. Lead the way. Su Yan's words pulled Lin Qingyue back from her shock. Under Su Yan's intimidation, Lin Qingyue also obediently led the way. As for whether Lin Qingyue thought about the idea of running away on the road, what a joke. This is Arcturus, a place full of all kinds of interstellar beasts. Although Lin Qingyue is timid, she is not stupid. If you leave Su Yan's side, these interstellar beasts can tear him to shreds in minutes. Although Su Yan kept intimidating himself, staying by his side was at least not life-threatening. Roar. Suddenly, a roar of a beast came from the depths of the jungle. When Lin Qingyue heard this voice, she immediately hid behind Su Yan. Su Yan pulled it out. Lead the way, there are predators around, no beasts will come near. Although there are many giant beasts on Arcturus, facing the predator with various high-tech equipment and superb combat experience, these giant beasts are no different from ordinary beasts. Seeing that Su Yan showed no pity for Xiangxiu, Lin Qingyue also pouted. Although his heart was full, Lin Qingyue didn't dare to speak up, and stayed with Su Yan obediently to the coordinate area. After a while, they passed through a jungle. In an instant, a jungle clearing appeared in front of him. In their field of vision, a small relic covered with vines appeared above the open space. This small relic was covered with vines, and if it wasn't for such a close distance, it would be impossible to find this relic. Su Yan raised the tech watch in his hand, and the tech watch began to scan the ruins in front of him. But after scanning for a long time, Su Yan found that the ruins could not be scanned by instruments at all. In other words, the material used in this ruin can shield the scanning of radio waves. Interesting. No wonder it hasn't been discovered until now. It seems that there is something in this ruin. Su Yan summoned a predator, and under his command, the predator also walked towards the gate of the ruins. I saw that predator stretched out his right hand, and a wrist blade popped out directly. Brush. With a single operation, the predator cut off all the vines at the gate of the ruins. Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue next to him. How did you know that there would be this ruin on Arcturus? I heard from my eldest brother, and he also bought the news from other interstellar aliens. I originally planned to come here to explore after I have a fleet. Having said that, Lin Qingyue also looked at Su Yan timidly. Su Yan smiled. It turns out that this little girl still has such an idea. However, now this ruin is cheap. After walking into the ruins, Su Yan couldn't help but narrow his eyes, because the door of the ruins in front of him was closed, obviously requiring some kind of key to open it. Seeing this, Su Yan also raised his hand, and the predator next to him also immediately understood. The shoulder cannon was ready, and the plasma shells bombarded directly on the gate of the ruins. Boom! With a loud bang, under Lin Qingyue's horrified gaze, the gate of the ruins in front of him was directly blasted open by the predator. Lin Qingyue couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva, but fortunately she didn't resist at first. If these predators had used this plasma cannon against themselves, they would have turned into a corpse by now. A predator walks ahead, clearing Su Yan from potential threats in the ruins. After the danger was eliminated, Su Yan officially stepped into the ruins. After entering the ruins, the first thing that catches your eye is a series of murals. The paintings on the murals show the evolution of a civilized race. Su Yan looked at the murals in front of him and couldn't help but feel a little surprised. Has there ever been a civilization on Arcturus? Ding, check-in location detected, Arcturus civilization ruins. Do you want to sign in? While Su Yan was still admiring the mural, the sign-in system suddenly popped up. Sign in. Decisive to sign in, how can you hesitate at this time? Ding, congratulations on getting the super soldier serum, Black Panther armor. After signing in this time, he actually got 2 rewards in one go. Su Yan took out the Super Soldier Serum from the system space. Super Soldier Serum. The system-improved Super Soldier Serum can greatly improve physical fitness after use without side effects. After taking a look at the introduction, Su Yan also decided to use the Super Soldier Serum. From the rewards obtained by checking into the location, Su Yan can be sure that the ruins are definitely not as simple as they thought. At this time, it is the right way to use Super Soldier Serum as soon as possible to enhance one's physical fitness. Congratulations on your successful use of Super Soldier Serum. Strength, plus 50, Physique, plus 50. After using the Super Soldier Serum, Su Yan could feel a warm current flowing through her internal organs. Under the transformation of this warm current, his body also became stronger and stronger. At this time, Lin Qingyue was obsessed with the content of the mural, and did not notice any changes in Su Yan next to her. Su Yan turned on his tech watch again, and at this time, checked his body data again, and the attribute panel that appeared in the watch was no longer the same. Name Su Yan. Race, humans of the solar system. Psionic value 100/100, power 62. Physique 60. Spirit 20. Skills, A-class ship driving technology, A-class ship engineering maintenance technology, A-class ship combat technology. Holding ship, S-class Hyperion. His strength and physique points have both reached 60 points. Such a value, although compared to some fighting races in the universe, is still a little weak. But with the Black Panther armor, Su Yan can be regarded as a bit of self-protection. Su Yan clenched her fists, feeling the power transmitted from her body. At this moment, Lin Qingyue next to him seemed to have discovered something from the mural. This mural seems to record the history of the White Knight clan. The characters on it look like members of the White Knight clan. I once checked the information about the White Knight clan in the Jupiter Library. The members of the White Knight clan are all excellent psionicists. But after that, the Baiyi clan seemed to have violated some taboo, and then they were blocked by the entire Xinghai, and finally disappeared. Looking at those murals, Lin Qingyue was even more sure. This may be the place where the Baiyi clan fell. Thinking of this, Lin Qingyue couldn't help but be moved. You must know that the former Baiyi clan were famous psionicists in the Sea of Stars. If they could find their legacy, she might be able to become a psionicist. Su Yan looked at Sylvia Lin, who was excited, and he also touched his chin. Is it the fallen place of the White Knight clan? It seems that his luck is not bad, and he has heard rumors about this White Knight clan. If you can find some psychic creations here, you will make a lot of money. In all kinds of markets, psychic creations are hard currency. On the other side, another entrance to the ruins. Several alien creatures wearing high-tech equipment came to the gate of the ruins. They are wearing some standard equipment, and they are marked with the same logo on their chests. This logo represents their identity, the treasure hunters of the interstellar mercenary group. In the periphery of Xinghai, the reputation of the treasure hunter mercenary group is relatively loud. Because the boss of their mercenary group is a real psionicist. A psionicist, in the periphery of Xinghai, is a Superman-like existence. It is precisely because of this that the mercenary group of treasure hunters is active in various interstellar spaces, and people's colors change. Is this the place where the Baiyi clan fell? Hey, I'm going to make a fortune this time. The Baiyi clan were the psionic races that roamed in the inner sea of Xinghai. If we can find a psionic seed in it, we will be rich. What are you thinking? If you have psionic seeds, you will not be spared. At this moment, the leading mercenary raised his hand. In an instant, a trace of thunder power burst out from his fingertips. Quiet. As soon as these words came out, everyone fell silent. The mercenary headed by them is the leader of their treasure hunters. Reno, the Birdman with the power of thunder. Birdman Renault glanced at the mercenaries behind him, and those mercenaries did not dare to make any noise, for fear of angering their boss. Seeing that the members of the mercenary group behind him stopped making noise, Renault Birdman glanced at the groove on the gate of the ruins. Then, he took out a disc-shaped creation from his arms. On this disc-shaped creation, there is a faint psychic power. Clearly, the disc was a psionic creation. Under the urging of the disc, the gate of the ruins also opened with a bang. Seeing that the gate of the ruins opened, the members of the treasure hunter mercenary group, who had been very quiet just now, began to be restless again. After all, this is the relic of the psychic race, the White Knight race. It was completely different from the backcountry they had explored before, as long as they could bring out a psychic creation. The star coins they get after the sale are enough for them to be unrestrained for a lifetime. Seeing that the members of the mercenary group were restless, Birdman Rainer did not continue to suppress them. This is the place where the Bai clan fell, remember our mission this time. The employer asked us to bring back the altar scroll of the White Knight clan no matter what. As for other things in this place, as long as you bring the altar scroll back, we can deal with the things here. Hearing this sentence, the eyes of all the members of the mercenary group burst into light. They can't wait. Birdman Renault waved his hand, and several members of the mercenary group rushed directly into the ruins. Several members of the relatively calm mercenary regiment brought holographic thermal imaging equipment and entered the ruins with laser guns. Birdman Rainer, as the leader, finally entered the ruins. After entering the ruins, Birdman Rainer also took out the map. Go this way. The members of the mercenary group also followed the Birdman Renault, heading towards the depths of the ruins. At this time, the Birdman Renault glanced around. The mercenary member next to him asked with some doubts, "What's wrong, boss?" Birdman Renault glanced at the surrounding walls. For some reason, he felt as if someone was watching him just now. Is it an illusion? It's okay, move on. The mercenary group continued to go deep into the ruins, and just after they left, a space behind them was distorted. I saw a predator emerge from the corner. This predator was ordered to explore the ruins, and who knew that he happened to meet the treasure hunter mercenary group. And this predator didn't take the plunge. Because the number of these treasure hunter mercenary groups is less than 100 people, and everyone is equipped with excellent equipment. Although the predators claim to be excellent fighters, they also understand that in the face of a large number of mercenary groups, it is the best choice to temporarily retreat. Bravery and death are not the same concept at all. And, according to their previous conversations, this mercenary group has a map of the ruins, and if they follow them, they may be able to find the treasure in the deepest part of the ruins. Su Yan, on the other side, also received a message from the predator. Treasure hunter mercenary group? I heard that their leader, Birdman Rainer, is a psionicist. Su Yan has also heard a little about the treasure hunter mercenary group. After all, in the outer seas, the existence of a psionicist is enough to be noticed by everyone. However, the treasure hunter mercenary group has come here. It shows that there are indeed good things in this ruins. Thinking of this, Su Yan also showed a smile. Immediately afterwards, Su Yan gave orders to the other predators, and all the predators began to approach the area where the treasure hunter mercenary group was located. Su Yan also began to approach the depths of the ruins according to the information provided by the predator. This is the relic of the Bai clan, and there may be some precious treasures in it. Su Yan is not the kind of generous person who gives away good things for nothing. Through one passage after another, Su Yan finally came to the central area of the ruins. A huge alloy gate appeared in front of Su Yan, compared to the old and dilapidated walls around it. The door in front of you is full of metal and technology textures. Seeing this, Su Yan also secretly said. Sure enough, letting the treasure hunter mercenary group lead the way was the right choice. This gate is made of alloy. With the attack of the predator, it is not necessarily able to open this gate. In the hands of these treasure hunter mercenary groups, they may hold the key to open the door. Just when Su Yan was still thinking about what was in the center of the ruins, a loud noise came directly from the door. Boom! A violent explosion sounded, and the entire ruins began to tremble because of the explosion. A strong smell of gunpowder smoke penetrated into Su Yan's nose through the spacesuit. After Lin Qingyue heard the violent sound, she immediately hid behind Su Yan. Su Yan glanced at her and let her hide behind him. and Su Yan walked into the gate, slowly. When he entered the space inside the gate, he couldn't help being shocked by the scene in front of him. The space in front of you is a space full of technology, and the interior space is incompatible with the outside scenery. Above the ground at the gate, some broken stones caught Su Yan's attention. Su Yan picked up one of the stones and saw incomprehensible symbols inscribed on the stone. At this time, Lin Qingyue stood up from behind Su Yan. After she glanced at the symbol on the stone, her eyes lit up. This is the rune of the psionic puppet used by the White Knight clan. I have seen the rune of this psionic puppet in the book. Sure enough, here are the relics of the Bai clan, and these psionic puppets must be the guards who guard the treasure. Lin Qingyue had a triumphant expression, as if waiting for Su Yan to praise her. But Su Yan didn't speak, instead he threw the gravel in his hand. It seems that the fragments scattered on the ground are fragments of psionic puppets. Those mercenaries are a little capable, but they solved these psionic puppets so quickly. The sound of the explosion just now was probably also the movement of those mercenaries and psionic puppets fighting. Boom! There was another loud noise, and Su Yan's eyes were attracted. Go, and see. In the Hall of Ruins, several psionic puppets woke up from their slumber. The mercenaries of the treasure hunter mercenary group also looked ugly when they saw the psionic puppets stand up. Wait, why is there still more? One of the mercenaries changed the energy ammo, and then raised the laser gun in his hand. A large number of laser bullets spewed out from the firearms of the mercenary group like a torrential rain. The densely packed lasers fell on the psionic puppet, and the coarse bar in the middle of the psionic puppet's head glowed faintly. Whoosh! The next second, a beam of psionic laser landed directly on the mercenary group. Boom! A huge explosion sounded, and several mercenaries were directly vaporized by the psionic laser. Seeing the death of their companions, the other mercenaries also paled. They did not expect that even after the death of these white knights, the psionic puppets they left behind still maintained their amazing fighting power. Now, they panic. If more psionic puppets appear in the future, they can't bear the loss at all. Boss! We've lost more than 20 brothers, and we can't move on. One of the mercenaries shouted to the Birdman Renault, and the Birdman Renault also gritted his teeth. Damn it! The Dark Elf didn't tell them that such a tricky psionic puppet would exist in this ruin. Thinking of this, the Birdman Renault also gritted his teeth. The next second, endless thunder burst out from his palm. A thunder net immediately appeared in the hall, and these psionic puppets were blocked in place by the thunder net. Now, retreat. I still don't know how many psionic puppets to face next, and the Birdman Renault dare not gamble. The more than 100 brothers under his command are all his belongings. If it is lost here, it will not be easy to build it again in the future. But at this moment, the retreating mercenary group collided with Su Yan. Birdman Reynolds instantly raised his guard. Are there other people in this ruin? And Su Yan also saw the scene of the mercenary group retreating, and couldn't help but chuckle. He originally planned to use the hand of the mercenary group to weaken the strength of the guards. It seems that the strength of these mercenary groups is still too weak. Who? How did you get in? Birdman Reynolds took up the laser gun and aimed at Su Yan, and one of the mercenaries under him glanced at the psionic puppet behind him. And those psionic puppets directly shredded the power grid made by Birdman Reynolds and attacked them. Boss, why are you talking nonsense with this human monkey? That ghost is coming after me. One of the mercenaries directly chose to aim and fire. Those mercenaries fired without hesitation. Seeing this, Su Yan directly activated the Black Panther armor, and the Black Panther armor instantly covered his whole body. Immediately afterwards, Su Yan directly stood in front of Lin Qingyue. Several lasers landed on the Black Panther armor, and an energy barrier was raised on the surface of the Black Panther armor, absorbing all the laser energy. Seeing this scene, those mercenaries were stunned. And this time, Su Yan clapped his hands. I was thinking, with your hands, to clear these ruins guards, but you are so disappointing to me. As soon as the words fell, hundreds of predator appeared in the hall. These hundreds of predators suddenly appeared, directly terrifying those mercenaries. Even the birdman Renault was sweating coldly from his back. No wonder he felt as if someone was watching him just now. When are these guys ambushing around them? In the next second, the shoulder cannons of hundreds of predators rose, and hundreds of plasma cannons landed directly on the psionic puppet. The psionic puppet was directly bombarded into pieces. After seeing the power of these predator warriors, many members of the mercenary group couldn't help swallowing. One of the members of the mercenary group just raised the laser gun in his hand. In the next second, a predator instantly pulled out a shuriken from behind. Whoosh! The cold light suddenly appeared, and the shuriken directly decapitated the mercenary. Seeing this scene, many mercenaries were immediately terrified. Even the birdman Rainer couldn't help but put down the weapon in his hand and raised his hands. He can be sure that the combat power of these monsters is even stronger than some regular troops. No matter how powerful the treasure hunter mercenary group is, it is just a mercenary group, and there is still a big gap compared with the regular army. Many mercenaries put down their weapons one after another, and Su Yan also sent a predator forward to collect these weapons. And at this time, Birdman Renault said, "What are you going to do with us? Kill us, or give it to the Star Alliance?" The mercenary group is called the mercenary group if it sounds good, but if it sounds bad, they are no different from the interstellar pirates. Among the mercenary unions, there are many interstellar pirates. There are also some outlaws who join mercenary groups in order to earn stars. The mercenary group is an extremely chaotic organization in the Shanghai. The Birdman Rainer was formerly the leader of the Thunderbird Pirates. However, after hearing that he was beaten up in the inner sea, he ran back to the outer sea in despair. In the open sea, he established a mercenary group of treasure hunters. Of course, this matter is irrelevant to Su Yan. What Su Yan cares most about now is what treasures exist in the ruins in front of him. He had already seen the power of those psionic puppets just now, if there were not so many predator. It is really difficult for him to deal with these psionic puppets alone. Now, these psionic puppets are dealt with. Su Yan came to the Birdman Renault, "Give me the key to this ruin." According to the news delivered by the predator, the Birdman Renault holds the key to this ruin. Only this key can open the last door. Birdman Renault glanced at the predator around, and saw that he took his hand into his arms. Afterwards, a disc-shaped key was held in the palm of the hand by the Birdman Reynolds. Seeing this, Su Yan also walked in to get the key. Suddenly, a series of thunder and lightning burst out from the Birdman Renault. The next second, Birdman Reynolds grabbed the laser gun on the ground. Su Yan sneered, wearing a Black Panther armor, he punched the Birdman Renault directly. Boom! With a muffled sound, the Birdman Renault was directly smashed into the wall by Su Yan. Birdman Renault spit out a mouthful of blood. He didn't expect Su Yan, a human, to have such a quick reaction ability. But at this time, the Birdman Renault took out a stone inscribed with a psionic rune. This hatred, I remember it. After all, the Birdman Renault directly crushed the stone of the psionic rune. In the next second, the figure of the Birdman Renault disappeared. The surrounding predators rushed over, but they were empty. Su Yan glanced at the place where Reno the Birdman disappeared, and was a little surprised. If he just read it right, the thing he used should be the psionic product teleportation stone. A teleportation stone on the market sells for hundreds of millions of stars. It's not a shame that he's a guy who has been in the inland sea, and there are endless means of escape in his hand. Captain, what to do with the rest of the people? All killed. Hearing this sentence, those mercenaries suddenly turned ashen. There is an old saying in Blue Star, the hearts of those who are not of our race must be different. Humans are not treated well in the Sea of Stars. When these aliens see their first faces, they call them human monkeys. From the moment he chose to fire, he didn't put Su Yan's life in his eyes at all. That being the case, Su Yan naturally wouldn't respect his life. In the Shanghai world, the strong are respected, and the weak eat the strong. Su Yan turned his back, and along with a series of screams, the predator dragged away all the bodies of the mercenaries and destroyed them. When Lin Qingyue saw the beheaded mercenaries, her face paled. But at this time, Su Yan was not in the mood to take care of her. I saw that he put the disc key on the gate, and the last gate opened with it. When Su Yan saw the scene in front of her, she couldn't help being shocked. Because what was placed in front of him was actually a bridge. In other words, the relic under their feet is actually an interstellar ship buried deep in the ground. Good guy. I didn't expect that the body of this relic is actually a Bei clan ship. Su Yan went directly to the bridge and put the disc key into the control panel of the bridge. The bridge control panel is also instantly unlocked. Welcome to the Bei transport ship. Soon, the data about the White Knight also appeared in front of Su Yan. Ship name White Knight. Ship type transport ship. Ship class A class. Ship owner none. Is it a transport ship? Su Yan was also a little disappointed after seeing the ship type. After all, the biggest role of a transport ship is to transport goods or people. However, this ship is also an A-class ship, but it can be added to its own escort system. Su Yan activated the disc key and began to hand over the authority of the ship to himself. Ship authority is being transferred. Successful handover. Welcome, Captain. Opening the ship's properties panel again, Su Yan successfully obtained all the permissions of the White Knight ship. After Su Yan obtained all the permissions, he found that there was something incredible in this cargo ship. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. This White Knight has been moored on this planet for more than tens of thousands of years. For tens of thousands of years, the White Knight was still running unharmed. Su Yan couldn't help but sighed at the superb technology level of the Bai clan, but the high-tech ship finally fell into his hands. According to the ship's log records, it was this ship that carried the last White Knight clan to Arcturus. Afterwards, they survived on this planet. The appearance of these giant beasts on Arcturus is also a means for the Bai clan to cover up their existence. But with the passage of time, many Bai clans have entered a state of hibernation in order to save energy. According to the guide of the log, Su Yan came to the bottom of the cargo ship. When he came to the dormant room at the bottom, he couldn't help but be shocked by the sight in front of him. The sleeping cabin in front of him was already full of skeletons. These Bai clan still failed to survive in the long years. And Su Yan went all the way to the last dormant capsule. When he saw the sleeping cabin in front of him, his face showed a hint of surprise, because the sleep cabin in front of me shows that it is still running. In other words, there are still living Bai clan in this dormant cabin. Hiss. If this news is released, it is estimated that the entire Shanghai will explode. The sinful race in the ancient times, the White Knight race, has not been completely wiped out. Su Yan wiped off the thick layer of dust on the dormant cabin. Through the glass on the dormant cabin, Su Yan could see clearly the scene in the dormant cabin. When Su Yan saw the White Knight clan in the dormant cabin, he couldn't help but be attracted by the White Knight clan. I saw a girl with a cold and delicate face like a porcelain doll lying tightly in it, and her long hair like silver threads spread out. She just lay there quietly, as pure and holy as the sleeping beauty in a fairy tale. Su Yan was also stunned for a moment. Are all the people of the Bai clan so handsome? At this moment, Sleeping Beauty in the dormant cabin opened her eyes. A pair of sapphire-like eyes, without any impurities, looked at Su Yan outside the dormant cabin. Su Yan didn't expect that she would wake up suddenly, and at this time, the dormant cabin also made a sound. Hearing this sound, Su Yan also took a few steps back. The dormant cabin slowly opened, and at this time, the silver-haired girl had a pair of small and exquisite bare feet like Agar in the depths. But then, her toes dipped into the void. A psychic power burst out from her body. Different from the psionic energy that the Birdman Rainer erupted, this psionic power is stronger and purer. Almost in an instant, several predator warriors showed their stature. The shoulder cannon was aimed at the silver-haired girl in front of her, and even the weapon in her hand was ready to go. Is this the power of the natural psionicist family, the White Knights? Su Yan didn't expect that he would be able to come into contact with such a powerful psionicist in the open sea. Looking at the silver-haired girl in front of him, Su Yan also narrowed his eyes slightly, and his heart was also more vigilant. According to rumors, a powerful psionicist is enough to change the outcome of a war of 10,000 people alone. Although Su Yan has seen a limited number of psionicists, it is certain that every psionicist is not as powerful as the silver-haired girl in front of him. At this time, the silver-haired girl looked at Su Yan. An ethereal voice passed directly into Su Yan's mind. "Are you the new captain of the White Knight? You don't need to worry, I won't hurt you. The meaning of my existence is to protect the Zerg altar and the White Knight from being taken away. As long as you don't touch the Zerg altar, I will not be your enemy. On the contrary, I will assist you in guarding the White Knight." As soon as the voice fell, Su Yan received a system prompt. Ding, Baiyi clan Baiying asked to be your crew member, do you agree? And such a good thing? Not only did you gain an A-class cargo ship for nothing, but also a psionicist crew? For Su Yan, this is tantamount to falling pie from the sky. Agree. Why not agree? Ding, congratulations, you have successfully obtained the first crew member. After Baiying becomes Su Yan's crew, the attribute panel of Baiying can be displayed in Su Yan's technology watch. I don't know if I don't see it, Su Yan thought to himself after seeing Baiying's attributes. In terms of value, Baiying's value is much stronger than an A-class cargo ship. Name White Warbler. Race White Knight Race. Psionic value 50000/50,000. Strength 20. Physique 20. Spirit 500. Talent. Ancient Sinner. When the ancient race encounters her, her favorability is reduced by 100 points. Guardian of the White Knight. When you are the captain of the White Knight, your loyalty will be 100 points of loyalty, and you will gain S-class ship driving skills. Zerg Mortal Enemy. When you join the Zerg camp, its loyalty will become minus 100 points of immortality, and the combat effectiveness will increase by 100% when fighting Zerg. Psionicist. Possess S-level psionic talent. When imparting psionic energy, the person being taught will gain additional experience. The Last Fire Passer. The last survivor of the White Knight clan, the chance of multiple births is increased. Loyalty 100. Good guy, no doubt as a psionic race, physical fitness and ordinary human beings are undoubtedly. But its psionic energy value is actually 500 times his own. This number is really terrifying. However, as long as she is still the captain of the White Knight, her loyalty will always remain at 100 points. Baiying. Is the so-called Zerg altar on this White Knight? Before, Su Yan had heard from the Predator that the reason why these treasure hunter mercenaries came here was that they were hired to find something. And this thing is very likely to be the Zerg altar. Who is it? Need a Zerg altar? Su Yan has learned about the horror of the Zerg in the history text. The Zerg crisis broke out tens of thousands of years ago, and almost half of the races in the Qinghai were destroyed. It was still several ancient empires who made joint efforts to reseal the Zerg back into the subspace. Who would actually want to unleash this horrible thing? That's right. Now the core of the Zerg altar is in the bridge room of this cargo ship. Tens of thousands of years ago, my tribe was bewitched and built a Zerg altar to summon the Zerg, thus committing a heinous crime. Now, I must protect the core of the Zerg altar, and I must not let the Zerg reappear. Speaking of things about the Zerg, Baiying's originally calm face also showed a hint of anger. It seemed that she really hated the Zerg. At this time, Su Yan raised a question, then why don't you just destroy the core of the Zerg altar? No, once these Zerg altar cores are destroyed, they will reform elsewhere in Qinghai. It is not that the people of the White Knight clan have not tried to destroy the core of the Zerg altar. But the core of this Zerg altar is an evil thing from the warp after all. Now, it is still too difficult to destroy it by their means alone. After Su Yan listened to Baiying's words, and I grew in her heart. Unexpectedly, the Zerg still has a chance to make a comeback. Thinking of this, Su Yan also decided to protect the core of this Zerg altar, because he knew very well that if the Zerg made a comeback, even he would suffer. The Zerg in the historical records not only have super reproduction ability, but the planet occupied by them will be corrupted and become a piece of fleshy soil. It took the entire star sea race thousands of years to seal it back into the subspace. If now, they make a comeback, the entire Shanghai will fall into endless war. Just when Su Yan was thinking about how to deal with the core of the Zerg altar, the entire White Knight suddenly shook. Warning, the White Knight is under attack. Warning, the White Knight is under attack. Warning, the White Knight is under attack. There was a rapid sound from the ship system, and Su Yan's technology watch also popped up a reminder. Su Yan immediately returned to the ship and turned on the ship scan function of the White Knight. At this time, he found that a C-class firepower ship was circling above the White Knight. And this C-class firepower ship is carrying out an indiscriminate bombing attack on the White Knight. Su Yan frowned. Ship attacked? Through the ship screen, Su Yan also saw the screen of the C-class firepower ship. I saw that the hull of the C-class firepower ship was sprayed with the pattern of the Treasure Mercenary Group. The ship of the Treasure Mercenary Group? Birdman Reynolds' guy hasn't left yet? On the C-class firepower ship Thunder, the Birdman Renault was covered in bandages, and the anger in his eyes almost burst out. Damn human monkey! How dare you threaten me? Fortunately, I have a teleportation stone. Everyone, aim at the ruins for me and raise me to the ground. All the firepower is turned on for me. I can't do it, no matter how powerful this guy is. Can he be stronger than missiles? At this time, Birdman Rainer doesn't care whether the target item in the ruins will be damaged or not. Now, he has only one goal, and that is to kill Su Yan. Countless missiles were released from the muzzle of the Thunder, and the terrifying firepower exploded a series of fires directly on the ground. Birdman Renault laughed loudly. No matter how strong it is, there is a fart, human monkey. In the end, you still fell under the fire of my ship. But at this moment, the laughter of Birdman Renault stopped abruptly. Among the countless fragments of ruins, the metal shell of the White Knight was gradually exposed. After seeing the outer shell of this ship, the Birdman Renault was stunned. A-class ships? The body of this relic is actually an A-class ship? Birdman Renault felt as if his heart was bleeding when he learned of this at this moment. At this moment, the bay took off with a bang. It was because the Thunder bombed all the soil above the bay that the bay could take off perfectly. Seeing the bay take off, the Birdman Reynolds looked hideous. What are you still doing? Sink it for me. If I can't get it, no one else can get it. As soon as these words came out, the mercenary members on the ship immediately turned on the firepower mode. A large number of missiles spewed out from the Thunder's artillery, and even the machine gun turret on the Thunder turned its muzzle to aim at the White Knight. The Thunder itself is a firepower ship. After the refit of the Birdman Renault, its firepower is also close to the B-class ship. At this moment, in the White Knight, Lin Qingyue hugged her head and curled up in the corner. It's over, we're going to be sunk. I'm still young, I don't want to die yet. Su Yan, think of a way. Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue, who was curled up like a quail in the corner, and said lightly, it's useless, it's still not sure who will kill the deer. As soon as the voice fell, the light of the entire bay became dim. At this time, the Thunder stopped attacking. Birdman Renault forgot to issue orders for a while after seeing the behemoth in front of him. Is this an S-class ship? Birdman Renault would never have thought that he would encounter an S-class ship in the open sea. The Hyperion arrives, and Su Yan controls the Hyperion with a technical watch. I saw a strong energy glow from the muzzle of the Hyperion's bow. And after seeing the energy radiance emanating from the Yamato cannon, Renault, the Birdman and the Thunder, a bad premonition rose in his heart. Quickly evade. Birdman Rainer looked at the huge gun barrel on the bow of the Hyperion, and couldn't help but have a premonition of death in his heart. Many mercenary members were also sweating coldly behind their backs. After reacting, they immediately controlled the Thunder, trying to escape the attack of Yamato cannon. But Su Yan sat in the White Knight and smiled faintly. Yamato cannon, fire, boom! With a huge beam of light directly rushing out of the barrel, the Yamato gun containing huge energy directly drowned the Thunder. Immediately afterwards, Yamato cannon rushed all the way through several mountain peaks. Finally, with a loud bang, a mushroom cloud rose above the distant sky. In the White Knight, Bai Ying and Lin Qingyue also saw the launch of the Yamato cannon for the first time. There was a hint of surprise in Bai Ying's blue eyes. Such a terrifying artillery, even in the Bai Yi clan in the whole body period. There are only a few ships that can achieve such amazing destructive power. But Lin Qingyue's eyes were completely excited. This is too awesome. I thought the ship was just a bit bigger. Su Yan also sighed helplessly when she heard this. This Hyperion is the crystallization of the wisdom of the Tyranid Empire, and the current Hyperion is not yet in its heyday. When the Hyperion was equipped with all the black technologies, the power of the Hyperion at that time was much stronger than it is now. After the bombing of the Yamato cannon, the original Thunder is now only a tattered wreck. This level of damage, even the most superb boatman in the Sea of Stars has no way to repair it. Su Yan operated the White Knight's panel and programmed the White Knight into the Hyperion's escort system. This time under Arcturus, I picked up an A-class ship for nothing, and also obtained a psionicist crew. For Su Yan, this harvest is already a good one. Immediately afterwards, Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue and gave a wicked smile. I don't know what secrets this girl has hidden on her body. If there is a chance, she must be handed over, huh? What are you staring at me for? Lin Qingyue, who was eating in the restaurant, was like a little hamster, constantly stuffing things into her mouth. At this time, she seemed to feel Su Yan's gaze, and looked over with a confused look. After this Arcturus experience, Lin Qingyue's fear of Su Yan was also greatly reduced. In Lin Qingyue's eyes, although this guy Su Yan often bullies himself, but there is no life-threatening danger to stay by his side. Su Yan looked at Lin Qingyue, who looked blank and silly, and smiled bitterly. It's okay, eat slowly, don't choke. Lin Qingyue glanced at Su Yan and continued to cook. She hasn't had a good meal since she boarded the ship. Now that I can finally eat, I naturally devoured it, for fear of not eating the last meal. Fortunately, the ship replenished enough water and food at Arcturus. There are only 3 people on board now, so don't worry about their food consumption too fast. Su Yan opened the map and started planning the next location. Originally, Su Yan planned to go to the nearest storm galaxy next, but the plan couldn't keep up with the changes. The White Knight suffered some damage during the Arcturus operation. Moreover, the White Knight has been on standby on the surface of the planet for tens of thousands of years. Su Yan felt that it was necessary for the White Knight to be repaired. If there was a problem during the interstellar voyage, it would be troublesome. The nearest port is Vulcan in the Flame system. The Vulcans in the Lion galaxy are all craftsmen who are good at crafting ships, which makes Vulcan a craftsman planet where all kinds of ships gather. Even in the Venus dock factory in the solar system, there are many Vulcan craftsmen. Thinking of this, Su Yan opened the control panels of the 2 ships and set the coordinates of Vulcan. The target is determined, Flame Galaxy, Vulcan. Prepare for space jump. In the next second, the 2 ships turned into a streamer and disappeared in place. The homeworld of the Dark Elves. In a black starport made of alloy materials, the Dark Elf general looked gloomy. Just now, he received the latest news. The treasure hunter mercenary group lost the news, and the core of the Zerg Altar has left Arcturus and is moving at high speed in the Sea of Stars. Those despicable and dirty mercenaries, where the hell did they take the holy relics? The Dark Elf general punched the wall next to him, and a deep fist mark appeared on the wall, made of alloy. The Dark Elf warrior next to him did not dare to say a word, for fear of angering his general. The Dark Elf general's face was gloomy. He thought that those mercenaries would be able to bring back the core of the Zerg Altar. But who would have thought that these guys actually disappeared directly? And according to their relic detectors, the relic is moving. Is this still worth thinking about? Those mercenaries most likely absconded with the holy relics. Damn it. This is not the most important thing. If those vile and dirty mercenaries accidentally destroy the sacred object will disappear and be reborn somewhere in the Sea of Stars. If they were born in those dangerous places with space storms, even if they had detectors, they would not be able to get the holy relics back. Those guys can't complete such a simple task. Now the Dark Elf general has some regrets and handed over this task to those unreliable mercenaries. After thinking for a moment, the Dark Elf general gave an order coldly. Send the first team to track the holy relic. If they can't bring the holy relics back, they don't have to come back. Hearing these words, the Dark Elf soldier next to him was also nervous and quickly agreed. Afterwards, the Dark Elf's first squadron fleet rose from the starport. And this time, their goal is to go to Vulcan's star in the Flame Galaxy to recover the core of the Zerg altar. Su Yan, on the other side, didn't know yet that the Dark Elf's fleet was coming towards him. At this moment, he has come to the periphery of Vulcan. The ship was released from the space transition state, and for a while, a large number of ships also appeared around the Hyperion. Lin Qingyue couldn't help but light up when she looked at the dazzling array of ships around her. Most of the ships she would never have seen in the solar system. For example, a biological ship made of flesh and blood on the side is like a beating heart. Along with the sailing of the ship, the flesh and blood on the ship also beat like a heart. There are also ships, which are like a whole crystal, looking extremely gorgeous. Vulcan is one of the few neutral planets in the outer sea of stars. Many alien races will maintain or repair their ships here. Ding, hello, this is the Vulcan communication channel. The dock you booked has been arranged. Please land on Dock 9 and Dock 10 in Area 66. We have arranged the best Vulcan boatmen to serve your ships. After booking the dock, Su Yan also set the automatic landing procedure. The two ships, the White Knight and the Hyperion, also landed in the docks respectively. The huge body of the Hyperion landed slowly, and the surrounding boatmen couldn't help but be amazed when they saw such a huge ship. S-class ships? My Vulcan is on top. I've received a big order today. The ship next to it is also an A-class ship. These two ships are not simple. Brothers are here to work. I haven't touched an S-class ship for a long time, little baby, I'm here. Su Yan and Lin Qingyue got off the ship, and the boatmen of Hu Shangxing didn't even look at them. In the eyes of these ship madmen, ships are their love. However, it is this attitude that makes Vulcan Star's reputation extremely good. At this time, Su Yan looked up and saw dock number 8 next to him, and a ship had landed. Coincidentally, this ship was Yun Qinghan's Qiyan. Yun Qinghan walked out of the Qiyan, but at this time, her face was very haggard. It seems that the interstellar voyage during this time has made her a little tired. How long will it take to fix these damages on my ship? This customer, your ship is seriously damaged. It will take at least hundreds of hours to repair, and the price is not cheap. After hearing this sentence, Yun Qinghan also waved his hand, a little impatient. Price is not a problem. At this time, Yun Qinghan looked up and saw the Hyperion next to him. Is this Su Yan's Hyperion? If it's here, doesn't it mean that Su Yan is also here? Sure enough, Yun Qinghan looked over, and Su Yan was standing beside him. And at this time, Captain Vulcan boatman also came to Su Yan's side. This customer, one of your S-class ships and an A-class ship has been checked. The S-class ship needs simple maintenance, but the other A-class ship has rusted in many parts and needs minor repairs. But don't worry, your two ships, we only need 24 hours to repair them perfectly. Here's your bill, take a look. Su Yan took the bill and couldn't help but gasp. The maintenance cost of the two ships actually cost 500,000 star coins. However, Su Yan can also understand, after all, the size of these two ships is not small. But for now, this fee is still too high. Su Yan glanced at Lin Qingyue next to him, then handed the bill to Lin Qingyue. Go and pay. What? Lin Qingyue was stunned for a moment, but she still took out her star coin card obediently. When the captain of the boatmen saw the star coin card in Lin Qingyue's hand, his eyes suddenly lit up. If he read it correctly, this star coin card is rumored to be the black gold star card only after the Shanghai Bank has stored more than 10 billion star coins. This human is an out-and-out rich woman. Su Yan was stunned for a while after seeing the black gold star card. He had thought that Lin Qingyue was rich, but he didn't expect that she was richer than he thought. If I don't knock her a few strokes, I feel sorry for my conscience. Lin Qingyue suddenly felt cold behind her back. How could she have a bad premonition? Brush. As the black gold star card swiped on the captain's technology watch, 500,000 star coins were transferred into the captain's account. After paying the money, Lin Qingyue looked at Su Yan. Why did I pay? At this time, she also found something wrong. Obviously these two ships are Su Yan's ships. Why do they have to pay for the maintenance themselves? Su Yan touched her little head. These days, you spent a lot on eating and drinking on my ship. Then, that's not as much as 500,000 star coins. Lin Qingyue puffed up her face, looking unconvinced. And Su Yan showed a wicked smile. Who put you on my boat? Hearing this sentence, Lin Qingyue suddenly became dumbfounded. Now she began to regret again. How did she end up in this villain's boat? At this time, Yun Qinghan also came over. Long time no see, Su Yan. Su Yan glanced at Yun Qinghan. Long time no see. The two had a brief chat, and then Su Yan also took Lin Qingyue to hang out in other places in Vulcan. And Yun Qinghan glanced at Su Yan's ships, an S-class Hyperion and an A-class Bay. The two ships, no matter which ship they are more advanced than their own Qian. Thinking of this, Yun Qinghan couldn't help but regret for a while. If she hadn't treated Su Yan that way, their relationship might have been much better than it is now. On the other hand, Su Yan had no intention of caring about Yun Qinghan's innermost thoughts. He and Yun Qinghan went directly to Vulcan Star's largest shopping mall. Lin Qingyue is a girl after all. After coming here, she seems to be like a fish in water, and she keeps buying and buying. Fortunately, when I went out, I brought a few predators as bodyguards. In this case, he wouldn't be a coolie for her. Su Yan followed Lin Qingyue all the way, and at this moment, the voice of the system sounded in his mind again. Ding, check-in location detected, Vulcan. Do you sign in? Sign in. Ding, congratulations on your success in obtaining 1,000 iron pilots, 100 battle titans. Oh? The sign-in reward this time made Su Yan a little surprised. Not to mention the 1,000 iron pilots and 100 battle titans, this is too cool. You know, in the Fall of the Titans, the combat power of each titan is enough to shock the opposing troops. Moreover, this time it was actually 100 battle titans in one breath. With these battle titans, he also has heavy weapons in ground combat. In this way, even if you encounter heavy armor, you can still have the power to fight. The appearance of the battle titan can be regarded as making up for his shortcomings in heavy armor. For a time, Su Yan was also in a good mood. System, where are these battle titans now? 1,000 iron pilots are now sleeping in the dormant cabin of the Hyperion and can be awakened at any time. 100 battle titans are currently in the airborne compartment of the White Knight, and they can call the White Knight for airborne at any time. Very good. I was just curious, the size of 100 battle titans is not too small. Where would they be arranged? Unexpectedly, the advantage of the White Knight as a cargo ship was highlighted at this moment. Vulcan is an extremely diurnal planet, and their planet's rotation speed is extremely slow. Generally, the daytime of Vulcan can reach 168 hours. The night is also the same time, which allows the Vulcans to maintain high-intensity work for a long time. Su Yan was resting on an open-air bench, and Lin Qingyue seemed to be a little unfulfilled. The things in the Vulcan Star Mall are still not as complete as those in the Blue Star Mall. Most of the things in it are some ship parts. After saying that, Su Yan felt a chill on his face. Suddenly, Su Yan sat up, only to see Lin Qingyue next to him showing a successful trick. Hey, I bought you Vulcan specialty, Xinghua milk tea, you can try it. It's incredible that aliens actually sell milk tea. Su Yan took the milk tea and took a sip. It tasted pretty good. After all, the tastes of different races and aliens are different, and the eating habits are also very different. There are few alien foods that meet the shrewd appetites of the blue stars. Su Yan took a sip of milk tea and looked up at the sky like the sunset glow of Vulcan. At this moment, a fleet appeared in his field of vision. The surrounding alien races also saw this fleet. After they saw this fleet, their emotions were obviously a little excited. Su Yan glanced at the fleet, which consisted of 1 A-class fireship, 2 B-class frigates, and 10 C-class frigates. It seems that it should be the official fleet of an alien race. Otherwise, with those mercenary groups or interstellar pirates alone, it would be impossible to gather such a luxurious fleet in the open sea. At this time, Lin Qingyue also noticed the fleet in the sky. These fleets appear to be the fleets of the Dark Elves. Dark Elf? Su Yan's eyes narrowed slightly, but he had heard rumors about the Dark Elves. The homeworld of the Dark Elves is located in the Inner Sea. To be precise, they are a branch of the Star Sea Elves. But I don't know why, these Dark Elves and Star Sea Elves are in a hostile state. Once they meet in the Sea of Stars, it is an endless situation. Moreover, compared to the arrogant Star Sea Elves, the Dark Elves are more brutal and arrogant. This makes other alien races afraid to communicate with Dark Elves easily. However, what makes Su Yan most curious is why the Dark Elves, such as the Inner Sea, come to the Outer Sea. At this moment, the fleet of Dark Elves also came to the dock. The Vulcans in the dock couldn't help frowning when they saw the Dark Elves' fleet. They have seen many races, but their distaste for the Dark Elves is undoubtedly the most. These Dark Elves landed here, and they didn't believe that these Dark Elves were there to maintain the ships. Dark Elves are arrogant by nature, and they consider other races to be inferior. In their eyes, other races even touch them. It is an insult. This also makes the reputation of the Dark Elves extremely bad in the Sea of Stars. But the Dark Elves don't care. Their powerful armed forces also make other alien races dare not speak out. At this moment, the flagship of the Dark Elf fleet also opened the hatch. The Dark Elf captain came out of the ship wearing a protective mask. "Damn, why do you want me to come to the backcountry of Vulcan to perform a mission? Just stepping on this land makes my shoes feel dirty." Hearing these words, Vulcan's boatman frowned, but glanced at the guns in the hands of the Dark Elf soldiers. The latest thermal laser gun, just one bullet is enough to penetrate 40 centimeters of steel. Faced with such a weapon, many boatmen dared to be angry but did not dare to speak. The Dark Elf captain stepped off the ship with a look of disgust, and then waved his hand. "Search for me, the holy relic we want must be in this dock." After all, several Dark Elf soldiers walked down from the ship. Seeing this scene, the captain of the Vulcan Star boatman also walked up quickly. Even though he was extremely angry in his heart, he still suppressed the anger in his heart and said with an apologetic smile, "My lord, the ships here are all deposited here by our customers. Would it be a little bad for you to open the hatches of these ships rashly?" Before he finished speaking, the Dark Elf captain took out a laser pistol from his waist and placed it on the head of the Vulcan starship engineer. Seeing this, the surrounding boatmen immediately pulled out weapons such as wrenches and pliers. The Dark Elf captain glanced at the captain of the boatmen, and said coldly, "Vulnerable thing, Dark Knight Empire's affairs, it's your turn to judge?" As soon as these words came out, even the better-tempered captain of the boatmen couldn't bear it. "Although Vulcan is a neutral planet, we are not easy to mess with. If you shoot here today, do you think your fleet will be able to get out of Vulcan?" Hearing this sentence, the Dark Elf captain's eyes also became extremely cold. This humble Vulcan dared to threaten him. Although he was a little unhappy, the Dark Elf captain also understood. If things are too big, it will be troublesome to arouse the wrath of the Vulcan Lord. Thinking of this, the Dark Elf captain also narrowed his eyes slightly. The next second, he lifted his foot and kicked the captain of the boatman out. "The Empire of the Night is doing business. After we find what we want among these ships, we will naturally leave. I advise you not to meddle in your own business. If this matter is messed up, the Dark Knight Empire doesn't mind erasing your Vulcan from the Sea of Stars." After all, the Dark Elf captain ignored the angry eyes of those Vulcans. I saw him wave his hand, and the surrounding Dark Elf warriors immediately took action. "Even if every ship is dismantled for me, I have to check it inside and out. According to the detector, the holy relic is here, and the warrior I found first will be promoted to Baron." As soon as these words came out, those Dark Elf soldiers seemed to have been beaten with blood. One of the Dark Elf soldiers directly picked up the high-energy cutter next to him and violently broke the hatch of one of the ships. Other Dark Elf soldiers also started violent demolition. Ping pong pong. The whole dock was filled with the sound of metal crashing. Seeing the customer's ship destroyed, many Vulcans clenched their fists. This time, their Vulcan star's reputation was ruined. After this incident, who would dare to come to their Vulcan to repair the spacecraft in the future? Without the work of repairing ships, their Vulcans are equivalent to being cut off from their economic support. The captain of the boatmen gritted his teeth, and then said to one of the Vulcan star boatmen, "Go and inform the Lord of Vulcan." Just then, several of the Dark Elf soldiers came to Su Yan's Hyperion. When he saw the huge size of the Hyperion, he couldn't help gasping for air. "Captain, there is an S-class ship in this dock." S-class ships? After hearing the news, the Dark Elf captain also came over immediately. When he saw the Hyperion in front of him, there was also a flash of greed in his eyes. Randomly, the Dark Elf captain waved his hand, "Open the hatch of this ship for me. This ship has been requisitioned by our Dark Knight Empire." As soon as these words came out, the other Dark Elf soldiers immediately understood. Several Dark Elf soldiers immediately held high-energy, cutting machines, and began to forcibly break through the Hyperion. Warning, the Hyperion is being forcibly broken through. Su Yan, who was in the mall, also suddenly received the news. After seeing the message displayed by the tech watch, Su Yan couldn't help frowning. Wasn't the Hyperion being maintained in the dock? How can this happen? At this time, the Hyperion also passed the situation at the hatch to Su Yan. In the picture, several Dark Elf warriors are using high-energy cutters to violently remove the hatch of the Hyperion. Troops of the Dark Elves? Su Yan's face sank. How dare he rob my ship in broad daylight? Awaken the pilot and prepare for battle. Received, is waking up the pilot. In the arsenal of the Hyperion, the dormant cabin slammed open, and 1,000 pilots walked out of the dormant cabin in full armor. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.